I love that this show does not just like stick with the same old, same old. This is such a visually interesting show. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we're back with another reaction to Arcane. We're now into episode 7, which is called The Boy Saviour. So last episode, we finally had our Vi and Jayce reunion. It was long awaited, at least for me anyways. And they now have seen how each other is living, how they're doing after all these years of being apart. And while it took till the end of the episode for it to happen, I think they both got some huge revelations that have been life-changing for both of them. Powder / Jayce learning that her sister did not leave her willingly, that she was arrested, and that's the reason she couldn't come back. But we also see that she's a little bit shaky on whether or not she can trust Vi, especially because she's with Caitlin, who's an enforcer and a representative of all the things that she's been raised to hate. And on the other side, poor Vi, who had the horrible revelation that her little sister is not the girl that she remembers. I mean, when Vi left, Powder was a, genteel, kind of scared, very reliant young girl who kind of needed her sister to protect her. And, she still had the brilliant mind, but, she was someone who you didn't see her fight, right? Powder was always the girl who ran and hid. And now she's the girl who is out here with massive guns. Her reflexes are like nothing we've ever seen. She's willing to fight. She's willing to kill. She is not the same. And while I think there's a part of Vi that's probably very proud of all the progress that Powder has made, I think it was pretty clear that she was also a bit aghast at the fact that she was so ruthless and seemingly could take life with ease. So there's a lot of bridging to happen between these two, and we don't know if they're actually going to make it at this point because they are very much on different sides on a few issues. I think the Zilko issue is going to be very, very sensitive for the two of them. So I am very, very excited to get at this episode and see where Vi was taken. Maybe we're going to learn more about the Firelights now because we really haven't seen much of them outside of their performing acrobatics on their flying skateboards. And I'm just ready to just keep this journey going. So before I jump into this episode though, if this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you like what you see, hopefully hit that thumbs up button. That thumbs up really helps with the algorithm and I appreciate it very much. And if you really like it here, hopefully you'll consider hitting that subscribe button. That way you can be notified when I do more reactions to Arcane. I also do a lot of other shows that are very similar to this one. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming. Hopefully you'll also think of hitting that subscribe button today as well. We just hit 8K and I'm so thankful, you guys. Honestly, it's just so amazing that we're here and I'm marching all the way to 10K. I would love it if you could be part of that journey with me. So that out of the way, guys, let's get into the episode right about now. If someone actually makes a merch of this record because I want it and went with the actual soundtrack.
I declare war.
Okay. Yes, I definitely need a soundtrack. This shit, look at the king. This little side project that they did here. Seriously, the animators on this show need a raise. I can't say it enough.
What was that glowing stone? That's what I thought.
I like this viewpoint of the two of them. But also, should they be talking so freely when they don't even know where they are? Okay, you're a bat boy. Those exist. Good to know, I think. Are these natural? Or is this a mutation? Tough. Dreads!
You look good for a dead girl.
We like Dreads. He knows who she is, too. Wait. Maybe I'm off about this, but a couple of years ago, there was like a song with a music video that came out. And it was Giants, I think. The song's like, we living like giants, we're giants. And I swear there was a character that looked like that guy. And he kept glitching in and out of frame. I don't remember if it's for this game though, but it was definitely for a game. Maybe I'm completely seeing the wrong thing. That's all he reminded me of. I just wanted to say that.
Echo?
That is the name.
What do you know about this?
Little man?
I didn't know if I could trust you.
So you just come out swinging?
Yes.
Gee, I wonder who I learned that from.
How? You still punch like a little boy.
And you still block with your face.
Facts.
I missed you, little man.
How'd she get out? I thought she was tied up. Aw, okay. So that's what I say. I don't think they remember calling him Echo before, but maybe I missed it and I just forgot.
The subjects wither and rot.
Because it's not natural.
Resides
You need a catalyst.
to change our nature.
And this is Shimmer?
A variant.
Oh, Shimmer. I kept calling it Sugar. I'm such a dummy.
It's why I parted ways with Heimerdinger.
Oh, he used to be topside.
Jayce will understand.
Will he? But I'm not even going to judge you, sir, because I cannot imagine dying or not wanting to die like that, you know. Okay, Jayce. Thirst trapping. What's going... Sir. Would you have me crushing on a cartoon man?
It's an explosive. I tried taking it apart and it nearly killed me. Whoever built it knows exactly what they're doing.
She's smart.
It's hard to believe what they're capable of.
There. That's where it starts.
He was my mentor, Mel. And I betrayed him.
Did you?
Cast me out, and yet part of me still loves them. Heimerdinger will understand eventually.
He's got plenty of time to ponder it.
We'll get through this. I'll store the council, but they'll soon need their leader.
Oh,
In the meantime,
he's leading now.
try not to lose your nuts.
She's like, I've got use for those. Oh, she meant literal nuts.
Preventing Vi and Caden from returning.
Or he's finally flipped.
You're always such a whiner. Complaint, complaint, complaint. No solution, Savika.
Why would I remember her name? Oh, she's just some stupid topsider.
So this is kind of turning into a bit of schizophrenia. That makes sense, though, with her being so lonely. She created other personalities, other sides of herself to give herself company. People who wouldn't leave her. Firelight. Oh, look at this weird little Peter Pan-like place.
If a single seed can make it down here, so could we.
You built all this?
Deep.
Everyone here was an addict or a victim. They needed somewhere safe to start again.
Aww.
Powder's gone, Vi. All that's left is Jinx, and she belongs to
You're
Silco.
wrong. She's still in there. I know my sister.
Do you? You know who she was. But I get it, though. I think Vi definitely has to try. That will haunt her forever if she doesn't. This art wall.
Some of it was enforcers. Most was Silco.
Damn.
Your sister works for him not because she has to, but because she wants to. I'm sorry, but that's who she is now.
And you know, little man would be trying to see the real Powder in there somewhere. But it's not the same relationship, so... Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that she's past redemption at this point. I mean, age-wise, I think she's still a teenager, but she's just so broken. Do you mind coughing away from the people? Love you, Victor.
I was consulting a friend about our quandary. I told you I knew someone.
Well, you didn't say they were from the Undercity.
Do I have to tell you everything about my business?
They're dangerous.
They?
I'm from the Undercity.
They?
I've had a lot on my plate.
That doesn't erase prejudice, though. I think that's a very poignant thing that happened there with Jayce doing the whole, oh, I have a lot on my plate, and that's why I said something that was extremely prejudiced. Yeah, prejudice does not cause, or fatigue doesn't cause prejudice, okay? Being tired or sick or sedated does not make you racist or phobic. That's something that you just believe, and fatigue just doesn't help you keep up that mask. So, nice try, Jayce, but you clearly are developing some serious prejudice. The Crime Lord's cavern?
We should be.
I like it. It's very pretty.
What's your plan to fix this?
It's in this box.
How are you meant to bring Piltover to heal if you can't handle your own people?
I love that they have an Asian character to sing.
Air so thick it clogged your throat. Stuck in your eyes.
Ah, so that's what happened to our poor boy Victor.
We came from a world where there was never enough to go
He
round.
seems to be completely immune to it. Silco. He doesn't even have a mask on. So y'all live in the Undercity, but you can't breathe in the Undercity?
Good meeting.
And that's why Silco's the boss. You know, if you're gonna deal with someone super evil, you need to be even more evil, right? But he let them live, so he needs them. I hope they figure that out. Love that shot.
It's too soon. Jayce isn't ready.
For? Weapons? It's weapons, isn't it?
This arrived for you.
Is it from your parents? Ooh, I like the seal. Open it. I want to read it. Fine. She's still sitting out here. What's up, Kate? Hope you didn't have to pee or anything. Be nice to the baby. I swear to God. You get to go home. Kick her ass out now.
It's me you want.
My hero.
I thought they were hurting you.
No.
I can explain.
Don't move, silly. I might hurt you.
Told ya.
You lied.
I feel like these two should stay together. Their dysfunctional dynamic seems to work. He's just letting her hurt him.
Have you forgotten how she left you?
Look at
Who
her.
found
Oh,
you?
they do so good with the
Who
facial
cares?
expressions.
I need you. Now more than ever.
Oh, the I need you part is the start that's gonna keep her in there. She's gonna stick around though, because that's one thing that Vi has never said and never would say to her is that she needs, I shouldn't say never would. Maybe now she would say it, but she just needs to feel like she's irreplaceable.
It was stolen during the attack by your sister.
You just forgot to mention that?
Let's not talk about forgetting to mention things just now, Vi.
If we are to assume the worst, that would mean they've turned it into a weapon.
Well, do we know this for certain?
We can't afford to wait to find out.
Afraid she's right.
Heimerdinger would never go for this.
Heimerdinger's inaction is what brought us here. You said so yourself.
Ew, she's good.
The decision is yours.
Is it? He's like, stick to my principles, never get laid again.
I need to think.
Victor's in a precarious position because those are his people. And he's right. Chances are that they're going to definitely develop a weapon faster than the Undercity would, even with Powder's amazing brain. Oh, he's making runes in his cane? Is that what's happening? Where are you going, Heimerdinger? I just realized that's you in the boat. Powder's waiting to see whether or not... Oh, he put the runes... He carved them into his leg? That's dedication. Guess if I had no other choice. But is that what Silco did? I guess with his eye? What you doing? Oh, he's using himself as the catalyst. How interesting. Mutated version of himself? He tried to back up and the Hex Tech said, no, girl, you called us. We'll tell you when you get to hang up. Don't even blame him. I really don't.
It's been real, Cupcake. Thanks.
Oh, it's a pet name now, is it? Can you hurry up and go, please?
It's just a goodbye hug.
It better be.
Show me.
If you hurt Echo, I swear there will be... Okay, Powder, you saw what happened. You saw that your friend got shot. They're like pretty. I hope they attack and rain acid on you. Who did that? Please tell me he had a vest or something on, please.
Tell my daughter.
It's probably best she didn't finish that sentence anyways, because it was probably a lie. Oh man, this is gonna be the final straw if Vi saves her. Wow. Wow, she was willing to kill them both. Oh, thank God. He's so over your shit, girl. Oh, that shot! Woo!
Go!
Just go. Can you hurry, please? Your sister's crazy and she's coming. Now your ass is gonna have the courage to kill her.
Oh, look who it is. The boy Saviour.
Thank you. this shot! What you up to, boy? Oh, this is a childhood game? Oh, not this animation. This is amazing. I love that this show does not just like stick with the same old, same old. This is such a visually interesting show. It makes me so thankful for my vision and not being colorblind. Wow, you still see him as a kid and you're still shooting, huh? There really is no saving you, is there, Powder? Dude, she's an amazing shot. Okay. Like, I want you to stop it at the same time. I'm scared because she's crazy. Run, Echo, please. She's not okay. Echo? You're the only one I care about? I'm just kidding. Not really, though. Oh, you had to end there. I hate you so much. All right, guys. That was episode 7 of Arcane, which is called The Boy Savior. And we finally saw what happened to our boy, Little Man, aka Echo. And I really hope he's okay. I'm thinking he is, though. The show's been pretty sparing with killing off some of them. I mean, outside of course, Vi's crew. But I think the fact that we saw so much time with him and what he's built with the firelights, etc., I'd like to think they're not going to kill him off. But who knows? We already know this show's pretty gritty. Oh, man, there's so many things in this episode. Well, since we already talked about that, let's talk a little bit more about what Little Man has done. I mean, the last time we saw him was right after Benzo died, and that, it looks like, was his father figure, his patron, the person who was taking care of him, the person who supported him and his exploits, his mechanical exploits, and he kind of didn't have anybody after Benzo was killed. I mean, he probably would have fallen under Vander's care, but then, of course, shortly thereafter, we lost Vander, and so he was left orphaned because of Silco and this stupid corrupt cop. And instead of allowing that to kind of consume him, I think what I like about it, stopping mid-thought, but I think what I like about him is I think that it's showing a parallel between Powder and Little Man as far as how they handled very similar situations. Now, they're not the same, of course, because Powder had a few more traumas on top of that. I mean, losing her parents the way that she did and losing Vander and then having, the one person she thought that would care about her, like what she thought, actively turn on her before disappearing. But both of them lost parents at a young age. Both of them lost the person who was then their father figure, and they were kind of left to fend for themselves. Now, yes, in the case of Powder, unfortunately, there was Silco's poisonous influence there to keep feeding her mind with a lot of negativity about her family and her past. But still, Little Man didn't have anybody. When you think about it, he really didn't have anyone, no positive influences left. And what's more, unfortunately, there were people who just wanted to destroy everything that his father figure and the people he looked up to had left behind after they died. So my point is, it was just as easy for Echo to fall into a life that was very similar to what Powder was. He could have been, again, we know he's very good at tinkering, much like her. He could have become very destructive with that. He could have joined the side that was winning, aka Silco. He could have allowed himself to get into the Shimmer, but he clearly had such a firm set of principles and a spirit that's pretty strong to resist all of that and instead decide that actually I want to stand for what the people who came before me stood for, aka Benzo and Vander. And they were always about keeping the lanes a place that was relatively safe and a place where people could live relatively well in what was generally a crap situation. And we see that instead he found like-minded people, some who, like he said, were either orphaned because of the Shimmer or who, just couldn't stand up to Silco. And they created this beautiful community of people who just want to exist the way that they did before everything went south. And I think that shows so much about his leadership skills and so much about, again, the kind of person that he is. And that's what I said when I first saw the firelights. I saw that they were trying to destroy the Shimmer shipment. So I knew that they weren't working for Silco. And I also was thinking, I don't think they're part of Piltover, but I could be wrong. It shows that he's doing what he can to try to save his streets. And fighting from a very disadvantaged position, but not only just fighting, but providing a place of refuge in that beautiful area that he had, the sanctuary with the tree in the middle. I love that line that he said about, if a seed can survive here, I knew that we could too. Like, nature is such a great teacher about things like that, right? Because it looks like it should have been a helpless situation. We've seen the lanes are gross. It's a pretty horrible place down there, but this tree was able to weather all of the contaminated water and air and craziness around it and still grow up to be this majestic thing that they can live in and play in, and is purifying the air as best as it can. And so it really is a good reminder that as humans, we can withstand the worst possible conditions and still turn into something beautiful if we have the tenacity to be that and to do that. And I think that Echo's a good, from what we've seen, I should say, he seems like he's a good example of that. Because, I mean, of course, we don't know everything that he's been up to all these years, but it does seem like he's been trying to maintain those principles that Benzo and Vander instilled in him at a very young age. He was the person to, of course, give Vi a bit of an update, and I'm glad it came from him, too, because Vi was, of course, she's not going to necessarily take everything Savika says at face value. She's not going to believe anything Silco says, but Little Man grew up with them. Little Man has a vested reason to want to believe the best in Powder. And if he's like, nah, she's gone, Jinx is there, and this girl loves what she does, like this is a different person, like Vi has to hear that. I'm glad, like I said, she's got that unbiased perspective as far as how far Jinx has fallen into where she is. But I do really appreciate that she's not completely giving up on her. We've seen, like, Jinx has got, like, she's, like I said, I just keep saying the word broken because I think that's the best way to describe it. Powder is still in there. You don't just stop being who you are, no matter what your circumstances are. And people think that. People think, oh, people change. People turn to, not really. People don't fundamentally change who they are. They will change their behaviors based on what they're going through. They will change their behaviors based on what their situations are and what they believe, but they don't fundamentally change who they are. And Powder was never someone who enjoyed hurting people. In fact, she couldn't even bring herself to fight as a child. Everything she's been doing has been based on a broken belief system that her sister didn't think she was good enough, that she was never strong enough to defend herself or be quote unquote useful to her sister and their group. And the fact that she thought she was disposable or dispensable. And she's trying to make herself somebody that is useful. And we've seen Silco is not really interested in a broken Powder, right? I mean, I do think he cares for her. I really do think there is affection there where he's concerned, because we heard him say this episode that, oh, we're the people always betray us. Like, he really does believe they have this bond in being abandoned by people that claim to care about them. But really, we saw that right after he gave that touching speech, he was like, yeah, I need you to build that weapon, right? So Silco is still about power, control, boosting his own fragile, stupid little ego about being the top of the lanes now. And so honestly, if Powder could not do her job anymore, I don't know that he continued to defend her as fiercely as he does. Do I think he'd just throw her to the wolves? No. But I don't think he'd be fighting so hard either to keep her around. So I think, again, Powder has shaped herself into somebody that's going to be useful to Silco, somewhat indispensable to him, but also create this person that's an image of who she thought Vi wanted her to be based on, again, her very limited understanding as a child when all of this happened. And of course, the guilt that she felt, I'm sure, she still does blame herself for what happened all those years ago and think that maybe if she knew a bit more, was stronger, like if she was more useful, Vi would have taken her and then this wouldn't have happened, right? So there's probably a lot going on there. But as I said, I don't think that Powder is gone. I think she's just buried under a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of guilt, a lot of anger, and most importantly, a lot of fear. And so I think that's what, Vi senses in her. And like I said, it's her sister. I expect her to try and reach her. She didn't have a lot of time. Like, their two interactions have been so brief already. And she hasn't had time to just really sit and talk to Powder. And I don't know what it would take. Honestly, it's not going to be a 5-minute conversation. It's not going to even be one conversation. I think they would literally need years to work through what's going on with Powder and where she's at right now. But as we see, there's going to be a huge roadblock now because Vi definitely has feelings for Caitlyn. Their time in the lanes has bonded them. They've gone through a shared trauma now. And it's clear they've got a little something going on. They both know that there's care for each other. And We know that Powder has been so heavily conditioned to believe that Piltover has taken everything from her, enforcers have taken everything from her, that she's just not ready to accept that there's any room for love in any capacity for that dynamic. So I think it's going to come down to, as I said before, like Vi would literally have to choose between Caitlyn and her sister. I don't think it would really be a choice, though. I do think that Vi would pick Powder if she absolutely had to, but that of course creates a whole new room for resentment, right? A whole new path of resentment for Vi, potentially thinking she's got to give up what she might potentially think is someone that she loves to placate Powder. And the fact that Powder's not willing to realize that the same way not everybody in the lanes is like Silco, not everybody in Piltover is like that corrupt cop. And so there's just, there's so much going on. It's so messy. The web is just getting thicker and more intricate, and it's getting more difficult because, as we saw there towards the end, Little Man chose to trust Vi, really. He didn't really trust Caitlyn, but he chose to trust Vi, and Vi said she trusts Caitlyn. They were going to bring this gemstone back. All that he really wants is for it not to be in Powder's hands, which is very smart because he knows how dangerous that would be. We see that Powder was watching the whole thing, and she decided to sweep in and try to take what she stole back, but it didn't quite work out the way she wanted, thanks to, my poor boy Echo, who thank God was wearing a vest, and thank God was shot in the stomach and not anywhere else. But he ended up distracting Powder long enough to let the two girls get away and get to the point in Piltover where getting the gemstone back would not be easy. But of course, we see that he might be very, very badly hurt now. I'm hoping that's as bad as it goes. But if he is the person I'm thinking of, I think he's going to be all right. Anyways, outside of that, of course, we had Jayce, who is still trying to decide what he wants to do going forward. I like that he's feeling a little bit of guilt over what happened with Heimerdinger, but I mean, it had to happen. Like, it shows that he really is a good guy and that he hated making that decision, but he was pushed into that decision because Heimerdinger really was not giving him any type of leeway to even discuss some type of compromise. But we see there that the inevitable has happened. I said a few episodes ago there would be only a matter of time before the request for weapons with Hextech was going to come, and that time is now here. And unfortunately, it's not all just for profit now. It is being pushed into a corner, and Jayce is really feeling the pressure of that politician versus altruistic scientist once again. And I understand his gut instinct to not want to create anything that'll harm people, but I also understand that he feels like it might be a necessity to protect the people that he cares about. And again, the prejudice is kind of coming through here as far as his viewpoint on the Undercity people. And I like that Victor reminded him, like, you're talking about them and they and, you know, 2 steps from those people. And he's like, I'm those people, right? I'm from the Undercity. Those are my roots too. And a lot of those people are like me. You know, you're looking at the worst of us and painting a very broad stroke across all of us. And so we'll have to see what Jayce decides in the end. I do think he's going to go the way of the weapon, though, because even though he's heading up the council, I feel like most of the council is going to want that extra layer of protection. Which brings me, of course, to Victor carving runes into his legs, using the shimmer mixture, and basically turning himself into a living conduit for this thing. Still not fully understanding it, still realizing that almost everything biological that's interacted with this thing has ended up dying almost immediately after. We'll have to see what it does to him. We see that small doses seem to keep you alive. That's what's been going on with Silco, but that looked like he put in a heck of a lot more than a tiny dose. So we'll have to see if Victor is still Victor when it's all said and done next episode. This is another great episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you in the next episode.